Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen Alpha 4.6 is now out to Evocati. We're going to talk about that patch, what is likely to come in the future for it, what's happening now, some little bits from data mines, but not too much. We're not allowed to show any of the footage of it because of the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement for the Evocati patch, but we can talk about it. The time frame for like a live build for 4.6 is probably a couple of weeks away. It's unclear at the moment. Once it's more stable, this build as well, and the bugs are less prohibitive to play, and it's sort of more useful to wider scale testing, then it will go out to wider PTU. We could have that later next week. We don't have much in the way of features here yet, nor do we know if there's going to be a wipe, but CIG did say this patch does not contain all of the intended features, which will be added iteratively. They'll tell us when they add more, but some features are in a partial state and not ready for testing, and are also potentially subject to removal. So the current testing focus for the patch is stability and bug fixes, clearing the air, the sort of new event that's going on, and its associated missions, as well as, so they've got listed here industrial mining and salvage missions. So they're in to some degree, but they also say these are not ready for testing and feedback. So let's talk about the clearing the air event. So from the patch notes, for weeks, Levski inhabitants and visitors have been getting sick with a mysterious disease that quickly became known as the People's Ailment, with symptoms like coughing, fatigue, chest pain, and painful lesions in the skull, spine, or other bones. It wasn't until an autopsy was performed following the death of a maintenance engineer, Samuel Molina, that the cause was discovered: a fungal infection from a new strain of mold growing in faulty air filters purchased from Geisen Inc. The so-called Molina mold has proved resilient and resistant to standard antifungal treatments, and has been spreading unabated throughout Levski, causing more people to fall ill. However, with the death toll rising to double digits and affecting residents in the neighbouring Stanton system, the UE has stepped in to help. Under their guidance, CureLife has been developing a targeted antifungal treatment, and Geisen Inc. has begun work on manufacturing replacement filters. To assist with the effort, contractors in Stanton are being hired to track down biological samples, deliver needed resources for both treatment and filters, and ship the finished results to Levski. Unfortunately, criminals and nicks like the Moraine and Claw Salamanders are trying to take advantage of the situation by hijacking delivery ships and ransoming victims of the Molina mold. While mercenaries are being hired to protect shipping lanes and rescue victims, it remains to be seen if the fungus will be stopped in time, or will the outlaw attempts to stymie relief efforts cause further deaths. This event will take place throughout the persistent universe, running hauling, courier, resource gathering, kill ship, recover cargo, station escort, and defend ship missions. These will lead to milestone missions after completing many of a specific mission type tracked in the Moby Journal. Subject to change and balancing, this is currently set to after 25 hauling type missions are completed, the player receives a VIP urgent care transport mission where they are to take a singular cryopod with this VIP inside all the way to Microtech for healing. After 25 combat missions, a exclusive target appears from the main gang for the player to take out. After 50 combat missions, a sick VIP in cryo gets stolen by a pyro gang and is being held for ransom. So this looks to be a limited time event, I think, though I think a lot of its mission archetypes and variants could be permanent, and it looks like it might be a way of them introducing the depths, the planets and nicks potentially in the patch, not in the not too distant future, some new factions, stuff like that. It does look like this is the start of a new story arc as well, and obviously some of the last ones led us through to like Line and Mine and the giant Valakar fights and the ASD facilities. Loads of cool stuff have come from these story arcs that's sticking around in the game as like sandbox activities and cool new narrative things to do. There are a load of other things that are in the patch to some degree or have been data mined. Now, we'll look more into that in another video. We'll do like a proper spoiler warning video. The data mines and patches do suggest some bits that potentially might be in this patch, from things like light amplification, being able to see the outlines of things in the dark more easily. The new flight model might be tested in Arena Commander. There's obviously those new Nyx-focused mining and salvage missions that we talked about, but there's tons of other features that I mentioned in my last video. from a new inventory to economy improvements to engineering updates to new ships that could also potentially make their way into this patch. Now, there are some pretty big known issues. Like, there's general Evocati problems with this patch. It's not stable enough to go to a wider PTU yet. Some of the clean air missions aren't spawning enemies, and objectives not progressing with them, and with missions in general. Some missions aren't populating the mission list. Some Nix shops don't have anything to sell. There's some odd issues with ASOP terminals not showing ship info. Doors needing fuses can't be overridden. There's lots of Levski structural issues as well. Yeah, lots of problems in the sort of Nix system in general in this patch at the moment. But bug fix wise, so 4.6 contains over 80 bug fixes for issues occurring in 4.5, 28 of which have originated from the issue council. Obviously that goes along with all the hotfixes and server updates they've already made, but there are tons of issues in 4.5 that have potentially been solved with this. Lots of crash stuff resolved, vehicle specific issues, mission progression, inventory interaction, desync and delay in this build are actually not an issue from what I can tell at the moment, but that could also be because it's only a small amount of players that are there, and maybe as you scale that up it will get much worse. There's a little FPS update as well. CIG Zach Priest said there's some new gating of FPS actions and some ungating of others under the guise of making weapon swap issues and fake reloads less likely to occur. Weapons can now be stowed whilst stowing and unstowing. Weapons can no longer be reloaded / fired whilst stowing and unstowing. This lingers longer than I would like currently, but it's just to do with animation lengths at the moment. You can now break out of medpen animations after injecting. Any balance concerns should be addressed by the above. You can sprint out of medgun self-aim. We're being a bit more tough on when you can do things to make sure the server doesn't get tripped up when frame rates are lower, and this should smooth things out a bit. He encourages people to give it a go and let them know what you think. So yeah, there's a lot of little updates here at the moment, and we should get a lot more to this once we know the build is stable and CIG add more features, and they'll talk about that more. There was a sneak peek in the newsletter as well, and it's of a new ship, probably the Apollo variant. Spoiler warning, this is almost certainly the Hermes. There's a tractor beam in the back, I believe, and yeah, it looks like a cargo hauler. I thought it might be a data runner as well, but it looks like it's probably just hauler. I'm still not 100%. We'll have to wait and see, right? Like, I don't know enough about the ship yet. CIG have not revealed enough of it, and it potentially might not be the Apollo variant. It could be something else. It does. It's starting to look more and more like that. I've got a lovely ad for you coming up, so take a look at that for Pigeon Spaceport, but they've got a load of links down below as well for a variety of other things. Have a look at that. Tell me what you think in the comments below of 4.6 if you're playing it now, and are you having a great time? Are you having an awful time? What are you hoping is going to turn up in the patch? What don't you think will? What do you think will? What do you think that ship is? Thanks for watching. What's that? A little sponsored ad? Pigeon Spaceport sells pre-painted, pre-assembled, officially licensed Star Citizen collectible model ships. They're currently taking pre-orders for their 1/100 scale RSI Scorpius Heavy Fighter. These models are exceptionally high in detail and fidelity. You can choose to have it in its landed mode with its little foldable wings, or in its X-Wing-esque configuration mounted on its stand. There may be more ships and kit models available in the future, so you might be able to assemble them yourself and that sort of stuff as well. You have to keep on checking back on the Pigeon Spaceport socials, which I'll link down below. The Scorpius model is currently $30 off, but if you use the link down below and use code BoredGamerUK, you get an additional 5% off. These are superb collector's items. They're beautifully made and they are securely packed, so they will turn up to you in one piece. Use the links below or go to pigeonspaceport.com to find out more.